Yo, so today I'm gonna be making a beat for Uzi and Future's new album. So I already have the melody, I was just messing around and I made something, but I liked it, so I want to make a video out of it. I started with a synth from Serum, and I turned down the velocity because when the velocity went up, it sounded really bad, so I just kept it all the way down. And I usually only make my things 9 bars, but I extended it because I liked the way it sounded up when it was put up an octave. So basically, what I did is I just did the bass notes and then made chords. So this would be the chord, but I took the top note of the chord and moved it over one and then just broke all the chords, so it's pretty much an harp. I put some effects on it. It's just a low cut, and then I took out the highs because I knew I was going to put a lead in, and then a little bit of reverb, and then this gross beat so it repeats on whatever that is, the second bar, I guess. So that sounds like this. It just gives it a lot more movement. It makes it more energetic. And then I layered that with an ARP from Omnisphere. It's the Harp's twin Fairyland one. I really like that ARP. And then I just copied the chords, but I didn't arpeggiate them. I just left them as full chords and then put the ARP on it. I just felt those sounds really matched together, and the ARP really filled up the space right here where there really isn't any plucks. There's just the really quick floor right here, so it really fills it up the space nicely. And then I added the Queen lead from the Adapt Serum Bank. It's a really soft lead, and I just copied the top notes of the melody and then had it go down here and down here, so it'll glide down there really quick. And after I actually mix the melody, I'll probably put a side chain on this because I think it's kind of boring, but it still does have a nice space in the melody. And then I added a pluck from Flex, which is a really good plugin for hyperpop melodies. Like if you don't have Serum or Omnisphere, this is really good. And I just went into the mobile pool synth pluck library and I grabbed the steel one and I turned the reverb off. So it sounds like this with the reverb. So I just turned that off and it sounds a lot more quick. And I made a counter melody with some rolls, but for the rolls, this one there's no high notes in it. It's just a little really quiet roll. And then for these, the first ones are at a normal velocity, and then the second ones are lower, so it just adds a little more movement to the melody. And then for the last sound, I added a Vox from Serum, and it's the retake Vox. And then I pretty much just copied the fast roll from the plucks, and then did the first notes of each thing, and added an extra note here. But it's real simple. also put it up an octave just like the first plex. Now I'm going to do the drums, and I always like to start off by putting a soft clip around the master and turn it down just a little bit, just so you can turn the 808 up really high but it won't clip.
Pineapple!
Okay, so I just did the drums, and I'm going to kind of go through my thought process while doing them. So I started off with the clap. It's just in the basic spot, the 2 and the 4. And then I put a 2-step pattern on just to get the groove. And then I put this 808 on, and I did the cut itself with the envelope. And then I made it go out quicker, and then I turned up the boost just so it hits a little bit harder. And then I just followed the bass notes of the melody and kept it real simple, because the melody is it's pretty complex. And then the only extra notes I added are this one, and this one. And then for the second half, I put the added notes up an octave, and then I added this roll here at the end. So it goes like this. It's a real simple pattern, there's really nothing to it, but here it is. And then I did the hats next, but then after that I put a kick in, and it just follows the same pattern, but it just hits twice, and then once at the end of each 4 bars. Really simple again, just follows the 808 pattern. And then I did the hi-hats, which is probably the most complex part. I don't really know how to explain it, but with the rolls, I shifted the velocity down for most of them. Well, pretty much all of them except these two. And then instead of having this hat here, I moved it over so it like gives it like a slow start, but then it speeds up. And then I just threw in lower notes where I felt they fit, and the same thing with rolls. And then at the end where there's the 808 roll, I took out this because I felt it was a little bit too busy, so I just had to go up and then down, and this really doesn't interfere with the 808 pattern at all, so everything fits together nicely. And then I went and added an open hat. This is my favorite one. It's from some Molly Rock kit. But I put it on the 1 and the 3, and then before the 3 it hits double. This is what this sounds like. And then finally I added a snare, but instead of hitting in between the claps, it hits right before the first clap, and then it does the same pattern, but I have no clue how to explain this whatsoever. Here it is though. It just makes it a little more unique, I guess, because most things have the snares in there. But I'll probably do a time lapse of mixing and arranging, and then I'll play the final beat at the end. So, thank you for watching, and I'll probably stream on Friday nights if you want to hop in that.